The last season, where we won 3 trophies, was really surprising for footballing reasons. And what has been going on for the course of last almost a few weeks, or simply put it, in this off season or preseason, however you like to call it, has been nothing short of absolutely surprising. For as long as I can remember, Barcelona has not been able to crack the transfer code when it comes to new additions in Barcelona teams. Be it 2010-11 in the peak Guardiola era, we have not been able to do some very good transfers. In Valverde era, in Bartomeu era, infamously known. So transfer, it's safe to say, transferring players, both offloading and bringing new names, has not been our forte, and it has not paid us any dividend. But this off-season is something that I have not witnessed in Barcelona for a very long time. And let's talk about it. Look, right after the season was over and we knew that we would be needing new additions in this team if we want to compete for the 4 titles and all the trophies that we are going to compete in next season, we need some serious addition, be it in the wings, be it in the back line, be it up front, we need additions. But the thing that surprised and impressed me the most was that all the media speculations and all the talks initially that started circulating into the media was not about the additions of player. It was about which names Barcelona can afford to offload, or let's say should offload in the coming season. And that was, to me, an absolute eye-opener. This was not something I was expecting from the management, because it has been a trend where we have done mistakes, where we have shown our stupidity, our naivety, and we have just gave an example to the entire world that we are so dependent on La Masia that we have not put enough emphasis and attention onto figuring out how to best utilize the transfer market. So why this is important, talking about a list of players that we need to offload, that showed a proper plan. That sort of forced upon us, but at least it showed some planning from the part of the coach, management, directors, Deco, Laporta, everyone. So you can call it kind of a preemptive approach, keeping the election in mind. You can say Deco finally learned his lessons. You can say it's an influence of Flake. It doesn't really matter what the answer is, because we are not here to look for answers. We are here to look for actions. And finally, Barcelona is taking action. So the names that we are seeing needs to be offloaded. For example, just about today, we had some kind of confirmation related to the Monaco deal of Ansu Fati, which is very important. We are hearing rumors about Pablo Torre. We know that Christensen is not going to be probably renewed. We are hearing about the renewal of Koundé and De Jong. This is also as much as important. So for us, we have to keep in mind discarding players or letting players go is just as important as adding new players, because one cannot happen without the other. We first have to make space for the new names to come in. Otherwise, all the rumors that we are hearing about Nico Williams, Rashford, the winger from Copenhagen that I cannot pronounce the name of, all those names, all those transfers cannot happen without, first of all, making space for them. And that is something that is absolutely clear to the board and to the fans and everyone involved inside the club. And that is very, very, very important. Now, keeping that in mind, it has also been our Achilles heel in figuring out which profiles do we really need to invest on. So why Joan Garcia deal is a big deal, and why I have been talking about it for talking in favor of it so vocally, is because it is an immediate action. The board was not wasting a single moment. It was not wasting a single day. Right when the season was over, the board, the management knew that we cannot go into a season where we have to seriously compete for four titles and have one retired goalkeeper and another goalkeeper who literally lost trust among the fans, and there is an ongoing campaign to get him out of the club. We cannot go into next season depending on these 2 keepers. Yes, Szczesny has done a very good job, but we cannot seriously compete for 4 titles with just one backup keeper and backup of a backup keeper. So realistically, the biggest loophole inside the team was the goalkeeping position, and that is where the board showed the most urgency. And this is the level of seriousness, this is the level of foresight that we have been missing from this club, from people who have been running this club. And this is probably the biggest sign that this is a first step towards a new direction. And then came the Nico Williams deal. So Nico Williams rumor which also didn't take any time. And this time it's the interest from the players. So we have to keep in mind that it was somewhat of a smokescreen and mirrors. What we did last season, kind of overlapping and overshadowing the gaps that we had in the squad. Keep in mind, the squad that we started last season with had absolutely no right to do this well, to win 3 trophies, to show almost next to no vulnerability, except for a part between September, October, November, December, not really October, November, primarily November and December, where we had a lapse, and eventually the depth of the squad came out there for everyone to see. But other than that, Flick managed absolutely brilliantly with whatever he had in terms of players and reserves. So why this result makes things very, or let's say why it is such an important factor to talk about, is because in order to join Barcelona, when we do not have the financial pull, we needed the players, at least the prospect list that we want in our team, had to push it from themselves, from their side. And this was very important, and this was made possible because of the results that Flick managed to get for his team. So that made possible for Joan Garcia to join. That is what making it possible to have a discussion with Nico Williams when there is such strong connection with Bayern Munich. They are still trying. They are financially more solvent. They can offer him more salary and everything, more bonuses and whatnot. But still, that recognition, that pull, that Hansi Flick Barcelona, the start of a new era, that Lamine Yamal stardom, partnering up in the front with Rafinha, Lewandowski, Pedri, it's absolutely priceless for any players to join Barcelona right now. And this has been not the case for a long period of time in Barcelona. So keeping all this in mind, we have to be very thankful of Flick, but also we have to give the necessary appreciation to the board as well, be it Deco, be it Laporta, because they are not, for one, wasting any time. They are marking, they are identifying the correct prospects. I for one am very excited about Rashford as well. If we can land him, I think it would be an absolutely amazing transfer, and I will talk about it in a separate video, but I think that would be an amazing transfer. So we are identifying the good profile or the appropriate profile for our team. We know where we are most vulnerable. We know in which positions we need serious backup, and we most importantly know which players we need to offload. Now, there is an argument going on that should we have discarded Araujo instead of Christensen. There is an argument to be had. And I'm not going to give my opinion in this video that which player we should have chosen, but simply put, to give an understanding of how the management probably thinking about this, is that Christensen at best can provide you with a couple of more seasons. Araujo can easily give you 10 to 12 more seasons. Now, the level of those 10 of 12 seasons, is it going to be on par with the 2 seasons that Christensen can give? To be very honest, we do not have the answer for that. But from a management perspective, if they want to stick to a prospect that has clearly almost over a decade in his career, choosing him over someone who is almost in the twilight years of his career, I think you can sort of make an argument in favor of that decision. But still, we will see eventually how it goes. And I think that Araujo is being saved for a rainy day. Now, what does that mean? It's basically, if we eventually have to get some cash in, and if you have to sort of break our bank for any of the registration, be it Nico Williams, be it Rashford or whoever, maybe in the back, Grimaldo, names like that. If we have to go and walk that path, Araujo is a get out of jail free card. We can bank on him, which we cannot do with Christensen. It's not going to bring us any substantial amount of money. So again, all of those things, all of those dots are connecting. It shows that the board is finally thinking things through. They're giving it time, they're giving the proper amount of weight to the players and the needs, and they're taking the right calls so far. And this is beyond important because, as I've mentioned earlier in this video, that we were by no means ready for the season where we won three titles. But we absolutely have to get ready for the season in which we are going to seriously compete for all 4 titles, which also include a shiny title that we call Champions League that we haven't won in a long period of time, that we absolutely have to win next season. So now what we can do is we have to wait and watch what this team does, what the management does, what Deco and Laporta and Flick does. And till then, as always, Fiscal Barca.